My guy, Larry. You ready for today, man?
You know I'm ready, sir. Let's get it.
Yeah, we got some news to talk about today, and we gonna get it done. All right? All right.
Oh, I'm always ready, sir. Let me go ahead and get this setup done, and then we gonna get right to it.
Good morning, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to the Slyy Report. I am your host, first mate of the Gold Fang crew, Gold D Rangs, and today I'm gonna bring you the news on One Piece, chapter 1100. Let's go. We start the chapter with a small jump forward in time, and now Kizaru is on the island, and he's talking with Vegapunk and Kuma, and he's commenting on the weather here and how it's different from Punk Hazard, and Vegapunk's saying, "Well, just wait on it. I have so many ideas. I can't even hardly think straight. It's gonna be so much better." And Kizaru points out that, well, that explains why you didn't check this place for any spy devices. You should have checked every nook and cranny. And Vegapunk's like, well, you got me. And Kizaru's like, yeah, the government doesn't smile on secret deals with pirates. So we get this conversation, and Kuma is present during this conversation. And then we cut outside. We see a marine vessel outside with marines coming out, securing the perimeter. And X-Drake is among them. So this is getting closer and closer to the current time, but X-Drake is still, at this time, a Marine. So we cut back inside, and here's where we get the bulk of the important information in this chapter. We get Saint Saturn talking to Vegapunk, Kizaru, and Kuma over Denden Mushi, and he is saying, well, Vegapunk, I don't care if you didn't know he was a pirate with a 296 million bounty, or if you just didn't care because he's a perfect candidate, but you cannot make the face of the clone troopers a wanted man. It's an affront to the military organization. But on that note, he has 3 conditions which need to be met in order for this procedure for Bonnie to take place and for this deal to be honored. So we're going to get these 3 conditions from Saint Saturn. Condition number 1. The first condition is that Kuma become one of the 7 warlords of the sea, seeing as there is a vacancy among them because that boy Ace took out one of the 7 warlords. Ace the truth now. Can't be sleeping on my boy. But this is, just a baseline condition. We're not getting into the really deep bad stuff yet. The second condition is that Kuma will become modified to be a cyborg. And this condition is so that Kuma will follow orders. He will be a loyal Shuchibukai. And we can see Vegapunk has some issues with this, but he's not exactly speaking up on this yet. And the third and final condition, the one that the meat and potatoes is behind, is that Kuma must agree to give up his free will and sense of individuality. And it is at this point that Vegapunk has had enough of hearing this. Because to him, this is the same as killing Kuma. This is the same as murdering this man. And he doesn't want to be a part of that. He says to have a cyborg with no free will, no sense of self, is basically to have a robot. And he protests that he will not be a part of killing this man. To which Saturn replies, hey, you work for us. You don't really have a right to talk here. Which he does have a point. Saturn also adds that without Kuma agreeing to these 3 specific rules, the 3 specific qualifications, that they are under no obligation to cure Bonnie. They are under no obligation to honor this deal. So really, this is the only choice they have. Vegapunk begins to protest again, saying like this isn't fair, this isn't something that we should be doing. But then Kuma interjects and he says that he will happily go along with it. He said that he will do anything that is required of him in order to cure Bonnie. He was worrying all of this time that she would not be able to be cured. And to know that she could be cured, he's willing to accept any deal for his daughter, bro. Such a good man. The man is literally in tears, weeping tears of joy. Crazy. Saturn asked Vegapunk how long it will take to do the modifications and to cure Bonnie. For Bonnie, it'll take 6 months for the initial cure, but then she'll need a year of rehab afterwards. And for Kuma, it'll take a minimum of 2 years, with this being an ongoing process with his modifications. So, what we have here is a timeline based on what is about to happen. For these next 6 months, these two people are going to be together on Egghead, spending time together and doing things to further the deal that was made. And we're going to see that further in the chapter. I'll get to that in a second. But I just need you to understand, like, right now, this is what happened. Kuma is sacrificing himself for his daughter, bro. And it's just a beautiful sight. Saturn brings up the point that how can they trust Kuma not to run away once Bonnie is cured? And Kuma says, I have no intentions of running. And Saturn says, be that as it may, she's the only leverage we have. So once she's in her rehab phase, she will be under government care. And if there is any defiance, any sign of defiance from any party involved in this, she will spend the rest of her life as a slave. To which Kuma takes exception. He does not want this. He does not want her to know truth. He does not want her to grow up in this type of lifestyle. Because let's remember how Kuma grew up. Kuma was a slave at 4. It's not too much to say that his entire early childhood was spent in slavery. And he had a few happy years, and then he went right back to suffering. This is a big deal. He does not want this girl to grow up in the same type of environment with the same type of trauma that he did, or her mother. Saturn says that they will have custody of her until Kuma's mind is completely erased. And Vegapunk is outraged by this again. He says, so Kuma won't get to see his daughter when she's cured. And Saturn is like, that's exactly right. There will be no contact. There will be none of that. Because if there is, these are the consequences. So Kuma, in his infinite kindness, his infinite good-heartedness, he says, hey, please, I'll do whatever you ask of me. I will follow, I will obey without question. But please, do not tell Bonnie the truth. Do not tell her the truth about her illness. Do not tell her the truth about her being a hostage. Do not have her go into some soulless government facility when she wakes up. Please just send her back to Sorbet Kingdom, where she grew up. She will be safe there. And Saturn surprisingly agrees to this. He says, well, as long as it's under government watch, the place does not really matter. So, the plan is set. Kuma and Bonnie will be staying on Egghead for the next 6 months while they receive their various modifications for Kuma and Bonnie's treatment. Once Bonnie is healed and in the rehab phase, she will be going back to Sorbet Kingdom, where she will be watched over by not only the people there who care about her, but also government agents to ensure that Kuma does not back out of his deal. So, that's what's been established here. That's where we're at. And we leave there, and then we cut over to Kuma talking to Bonnie, telling her, hey, we're going to be staying here for the next 6 months together. And she's excited. She gets to stay with her dad. She's like, oh, wow, that's great. And Kuma's like, yeah, I might have come down with something too. They think they want to, just run some tests and stuff on me. So we get a montage of what's going on over these 6 months. Bonnie playing in the lab, the bonding between Vegapunk, Kuma, Borsalino, Kizaru, and Sentomaru and them. We get pictures of montage of Vegapunk riding furiously and getting the plans out of his head and saying how he wishes there was more of him and how he doesn't have enough time to do all the things he wants to do, planning the idea for the satellites. We get an image of the outside of Egghead where it's starting to be built up into what it is today. And then we get an image of a pizza party. A pizza party with everybody who's on Egghead and all the people just happy and eating pizza and singing and doing the Nika dance together, and it's just a good time. And you get the feeling that these people, they all know what the truth is except for Bonnie. But even still, they're still trying to make this the best experience for this child. They're still trying to be there for this child and live happily, create happy memories. It's a lot. So once the 6 months pass, Vegapunk says goodbye to Bonnie and Kuma for now. Bonnie is happy. She's like, when I'm cured, when I'm all better, I can come visit you guys, right? And Vegapunk's like, yeah, sure. And with that, they depart back to the Sorbet Kingdom. And once they get back to the Sorbet Kingdom, Kuma and Bonnie are welcomed openly and warmly by all the elderly people who Kuma has helped over the years, the ones that helped raise Bonnie. And also Queen Connie is there. Queen Connie comes and she is excited to see Bonnie. And Bonnie is excited to see her. And Queen Connie promises that they will take care of her. They will watch her over this year and make sure that she recovers wonderfully. And Kuma is talking to her, saying, hey, I will write to you. I have to leave. I'm still a wanted pirate. Putting on this facade that he will be back in a year to come and get her. And then they can sail the seas together. And this is where we get the government agents coming in. We get CP8 member Alpha posing as a nurse who is about to come in and look over Bonnie and also keep an eye on things and remind Kuma of the promise. And Kuma remembers, and in his head he's monologuing and he's saying how much he would have liked to do the things he promised Bonnie. But the fact that she is alive, the fact that she's going to be healthy is all that he could ask for. And before leaving her, he turns to her, he pats her on the head and he says, Bonnie, I'm so glad you were born, Bonnie. Thank you. And with that, Kuma leaves. We then cut to the narrator, who is making the announcement, telling us about the announcement of Kuma becoming a part of the 7 warlords, how the tyrant, Kuma, the former king of Sorbet, is now a loyal, obedient member of the 7 warlords of the sea. We see various reactions from different warlords like Doflamingo, Crocodile, Moria. All of the warlords giving a reaction. Jinbei, he's with Whitebeard and Ace on their crew, and Blackbeard is still a part of the crew. Like, we get Dragon's reaction, we get Sabo's reaction, and Koala's. Like, we get a good few scenes of just seeing how everybody is reacting to the news of Kuma becoming a warlord of the sea. We then cut to the open seas. We see Kuma, she's just sank a couple ships. He has his flag, which is a picture that Bonnie drew of him, proudly on his sail. He's just sailing and doing his thing. He's writing a letter to Bonnie. He's narrating a letter to Bonnie saying how much he misses her, how things are harder now to just sail around and look for places for them to go to together because he's getting more and more notoriety. And then he sends the letter off. We get a brief scene of Luffy running from a tiger, laughing his butt off, just having a great time as he's on his home village. We then cut back to the open seas and Kuma is getting a call from the world government. They're saying, World Government Agent Kuma, where are you right now? And Kuma says, I'm in the East Blue. What is the mission that you have for me? And we see the wide shot of Kuma's ship right outside Fuchsia Village, Luffy's hometown in the East Blue. And this is where the chapter ends. We don't know where it's going next week, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be some hype stuff happening. And I will be here to give you the Slyy report. That is a Gold D Rings guarantee. We're working on getting some more sponsorship for these shows, and we're working on a lot of other stuff for you guys. So, thanks again for joining us on the Slyy report. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so so that others may see this news too. Once again, I am your host, Go D Ranks from the Go Frame crew. And this has been the news. Have a blessed day.